Hey world! Welcome back to Dragon Fairy History Podcast. I'm your host Elijah, and this is my co-host.
Mary.
And today we are talking about a very important person, Marsha P. Johnson. So first we gotta start with our fun facts. Mary, would you like to start?
Um, the other day I lit a match for the first time.
Wow, very exciting. Very
Yeah, it's
exciting. Trying to burn down the house or something. It's
I know
not
what
4th of
you
July
wanted.
yet, you know.
You wanted an early celebration.
An early 4th of July celebration. Very early 4th of July celebration.
A little bit, it's a little bit into June, but it's okay.
Yeah. Well, my fun fact is I graduated.
Yay!
Yay! Oh my God. Feels so great to graduate and not have to do school anymore. And I'm gonna really try to not ever do school again.
That's fair.
Yeah. So with that, let's get into Marsha P. Johnson. I was wondering, Mary, uh, like what you knew about Marsha P. Johnson before, gathering your fun facts.
Before gathering my fun facts, I'd honestly never even heard of her. I had no idea who she was.
See, this is why we need to talk about her, because she was such an important person, like such an important like person for the gay rights movement and for the Stonewall riots, and a very important person of queer history. And so, just knowing that people don't know who she is like, oh my God, so sad. Like a failing on the American education system.
Agreed.
Yes, but we are here to educate and we will change that. You will learn, Mary. You will learn. You will learn real quick all about Marsha P. Johnson. Um, so first of all, she was a black trans woman born in 1945 in New Jersey. She came from a Methodist lower class household. And a little fun fact is, I know you have fun facts, but I wrote my own fun
I
fact
don't.
was that the P in her name stands for pay it no mind.
That was one of my fun facts.
Yeah, that's a very classic fun fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm sure you have other fun facts too.
Yeah, I do.
Right. Um, I consider her like the most important person for the gay rights movement, which you'll see why
Mhm.
later. But some biography of her, uh, she started wearing dresses when she was 5 years old, but she stopped because she was getting bullied and attacked, which is crazy because she was
Yeah,
like 5.
that's
Um, but after high school, she left for New York City, where she took the name Marsha P. Johnson and she started wearing women's clothes. So, that's when she got to be herself. Um, but she did struggle to find employment and she had to turn to sex work, which I think many black trans women still do. Like, if you look at the stats, like, black trans women are like the most likely to be in sex work, um, just because of like the lack of employment they get, because they're probably like one of the most discriminated groups. So, unfortunately, still true to today. As a late teen, uh, Marsha took in an 11-year-old trans girl named Sylvia Rivera, and they became super close immediately. Sylvia describes Marsha as her mother. So like that's like kind of how close they were and the dynamic they had. And um also many trans people consider Marsha like a mother to like the trans community, especially after the advocacy and the work she did for the community. So she has that mother role, which she is known for. But Marsha and Sylvia's life changed when the Stonewall riots occurred in 1969, and it is debated who threw the first brick at Stonewall. By some accounts, it was Marsha or Sylvia who threw the first brick at Stonewall, but there's also another account by Marsha saying that she arrived later once the building was on fire. So, um, it like no one really knows, but I like to imagine it was Marsha because that would be pretty epic.
That'd
You
be pretty
know?
funny.
I want to take a break and ask you, I like to check in and ask if you have any questions or comments, thoughts on anything.
I do actually have some comments.
Okay.
I know you
So
mentioned that
intently, like you have something up your sleeve. You have something special to say.
I may have a few extra fun facts to mention.
Okay.
So you mentioned how like she moved to New York and how she did sex work, and it's because she only like showed up there with like a bag of clothes and only $15 to her name. And she was actually like arrested a few times for the sex work that she did.
Yeah, because the sex work was illegal.
Yeah. And then also, in addition to like how the P in her name stood for Pay It No Mind, she actually got Johnson from a restaurant that she frequently went to called Howard Johnson's.
Ooh, that is cool. I wonder what kind of restaurant that was.
I actually don't know. I didn't look into that.
Well, that's very, very interesting. Also, what does pay it no mind mean? Like, I feel like I know what it means, but it's also like an interesting phrase.
Oh, apparently she said it. This was also in my fun facts. Is she actually came up with that because whenever somebody questioned her gender identity, she would say, "Pay it no mind."
Oh,
Yeah.
see, I didn't know that part. I didn't know like how it came up. I just knew like that was like her phrase. But that's really neat. I like
That
that.
was so cool. I
That's
like where her name came from.
yeah. Moving on to the rest of her history, with nothing to lose, Marcia and Sylvia led protests, and they were really mad that the gay rights movement didn't include trans people. Like they were very much excluded from these like riots and protests a lot of the time, very centered on like white gay men. Um, and so they created an organization called STAR, which stands for Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries, which was a shelter for trans people on the streets. So very good work. And honestly, transvestite, very old word. We don't really say that anymore. Um, but at the time, that was just common. And despite Marsha constantly being arrested, like you said before, and hospitalized for like mental health issues, and also having HIV, she
Yeah.
kept a positive attitude and kept advocating. Like the strength she had, despite all the obstacles and hardships she was facing, she still brought in that great personality and just optimism and kept helping other people. And so that's like she was very strong, like physically and mentally. It was crazy. Um, but unfortunately, Marsha P. Johnson died in 1992 at age 46. Her body was found in the Hudson River, and her death was written off as a suicide despite having signs of an attack. But the police didn't really care to look into it.
That's very
Um,
suspicious.
yeah. Uh, but um, now the case of her death is open, is considered open, and it hasn't been closed yet. After decades now, like it's still yeah, it still hasn't been looked into. Yeah, I think there's a new documentary on Netflix about like the investigation of her death. I haven't seen it, but I think it has a lot more information and it seems cool, so I recommend you check it out.
That's
If you
very interesting.
Marsha was so loved by the community, you know, and hundreds of people showed up at her funeral. Like that's crazy. Like the streets were filled.
Wow.
Like that's how loved she was by everyone. And just like I don't know, like I just want Marsha P. Johnson to, if there's anything you need to know about her, is that she was a strong-willed advocate, loved by the community, and she led the gay rights movement so far in the right direction, and she was like a mother figure for so many trans people, and that's why she's so important to queer history.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's my argument. I rest my case.
that was good.
Any questions or comments, concerns?
No questions or concerns. I feel like that was really well said. I do have some more fun facts to add, though.
All right, let's hear him.
So I thought this was interesting that she actually has a very religious upbringing. As a child, she attended the Mount, I don't know how to say that,
Mount,
Teman
what?
African Methodist Church,
Wait, hold on, spell it.
Teman,
T,
Mount Teman?
I guess Teeman.
Yeah.
Like demon, but Teeman.
I also don't know how to say this other one. Episcopal.
Wait, hold on. Wait, spell that again.
Episcopal.
E-O
Episcopal.
C-O-P-A-L.
Yeah,
Oh, Episcopal.
Episcopal.
Probably, sure. Let's just call it Episcopal. That's probably what it is.
Might be. Well, she attended the Mount Teman African Methodist Episcopal Church, and as the
A
years went
long
by,
name.
I feel like I butcher that so hard. She was drawn to Catholicism and frequently visited houses of worship, which I think is really interesting because I feel like a lot of gay people and trans people don't like the church as much just
Hmm.
because of how many like anti-LGBT people are in churches.
But she like went to those like she religiously went to them.
Yeah, like she was very interested in religion.
Yeah. And this was like even after she left her family and like later
Even
in
as
life.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, I always hear about like the religious gays. And I'm just like I just you know, I just can't relate. I can't relate. But I don't know, I think a lot of queer people find I think they kind of make I don't know, God whatever they really want. And it's like God loves everyone, right? So God loves me, or God doesn't make mistakes, so God made me the way I am for a reason. I think it's very powerful how people can like, do that and still have like that faith and all. Speaking as an atheist, yeah, I can see that. I can understand that. Not my cup of tea though.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Exactly. I can understand that. And it's also like I think very brave to be in that kind of space where I think there's just so much hatred towards people like her.
Oh yeah, I'd be scared to be in a church. I'd be like, if I go in there, I'm gonna like light on fire. Like instant combustion. I liked learning about Marsha P. I mean, I already knew about Marsha P. Johnson.
That's
She's
good.
an icon for me. I'm obsessed with Marsha P. Johnson. Um, yeah, maybe because I actually made a video about Marsha P. Johnson like a year ago,
Yeah.
over a year ago. And it was really short, just it was just me yapping. And in it, I, I at the end I said, next I will talk about Sylvia Rivera, and then I never did.
Indeed.
And so I'm thinking maybe the next person we talk about should be Sylvia Rivera. Because
Yeah, you need to do
Marsha P.
that.
Johnson like, did a lot on her own, but like Sylvia Rivera was very much a part of her life. They were like two peas in a pod. Like you can't really talk about one without talking about the other. And so I think it'd be a very good like place to build off of, Marsha P. Johnson and go into Sylvia Rivera.
I agree, yeah, because I saw her name come up a lot, but I never really looked into it because you're talking about Marsha P.
Yeah.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she I think she's still is there anything Pride Month related? Ooh, maybe we could say something we did for Pride or how to celebrate Pride.
I haven't done anything.
I haven't either.
It's like,
I was hoping you could say something for me.
yeah, I've not participated, unfortunately. I want to go to a pride parade sometime. That'd be so fun.
Yeah,
Not.
me too. I just do not have the time.
Yeah,
School, but you didn't have school in June.
I didn't, but I was with my boyfriend up here in June.
Well, you can't take him to Pride.
I should. I didn't think about
Just
that.
drag his ass. We'll
I'm
be the
gonna try
token
to
straight.
straight ass to pride parade. I should. Next year.
Pride Month is important because I know, listen, you might not believe me when I say this, but there's a lot of gay people who say we don't need Pride Month anymore.
What? Why?
I don't know.
They're like, oh, we don't feel oppression anymore or
It's
something.
usually just the white gays who are rich who say that. But yeah, people really do say like we don't need Pride Month anymore. So Mary, would you like to um enlighten the people on why Pride Month is important and why we still in these times today need Pride Month?
Yeah. Oh my God, they're probably the same people that say we don't need Black History Month.
Oh my God. Like slavery's over, guys.
There's no
We
way.
don't.
Only problem.
Racism is over, guys. There's no more racism.
Because there's no more slavery, there's no more racism.
Yeah, yeah, once the Stonewall riots happened, like it's what people are saying? People are saying that Pride Month used to be like riots. It used to be like, oh, we're like fighting for our rights here. But now it's just like something, it's just like excuse me. It's just consumerist like perverts flaunting their stuff.
Oh.
No, there's like I've heard actual gay people complain like, "Oh, like you can't bring children to Pride because everyone's just running around with their dicks out."
It's not pride at all.
I
What?
know, it's like that's not what's happening. So, Mary, why do we need Pride Month?
I believe that we need Pride Month because I think that it's important to show visibility on an underrepresented community. And also just because there's still so much hatred going on in the world on this, like how the current president is trying to remove trans athletes from sports, like
Hmm.
that's going on today. And I feel like there needs to be more advocacy for the LGBT community.
Mm, yes. And now everyone knows. Yeah. Now all those people who say we don't need Pride Month anymore. Like we do. We do. Very well spoken, Mary. Very well spoken. Well said.
So, Elijah, how should we celebrate Pride?
Well, I think we can celebrate Pride in big ways and small ways. If you're one of those really flamboyant gays, you know what I mean. You know who I'm talking about. If you're quite flamboyant, you can wear a bunch of Pride merch. There's a shirt going around that I think there's like Pedro Pascal was wearing. He was wearing it was protect the dolls, which is
Oh,
like slang for trans girls. Oh my God, my someone just texted me and it was oh my God, it's spam. Never mind. But yes, the shirt protect the dolls. That's a political statement right there, and that's a good way to advocate and expressing yourself, just like being visible. See, just being visible seems like such a small thing, just like, putting on clothes and just going out and being yourself seems like this is like an everyday thing. You're always going out, you're always being yourself, but it's actually very powerful because a lot of people right now can't really be themselves and can't express themselves. But that's why being yourself, being visible is like such a risky thing, but also like, very powerful because that's what's needed right now. So even if you think you're not really doing anything, you are doing something just by existing, just your existence is powerful enough.
I agree, that was good.
Thank you. Thank you. Or you can just throw your own parade. Like you like throw condoms around. I don't know. Some people are flamboyant. Some people go crazy.
Why not? Some of us
Which
have
I
to.
respect. I respect. I'm not crazy like that, but I'm more like I like to just, exist. I like to just I don't know, I like to be in the background of things.
Mm.
And participate. But yeah, one time not my I think my coworkers wanted to kind of create their own parade around school, around the campus, where we all just like get a flag and we like all get together and just walk across campus waving our flags.
Yeah.
And I was so down for that, but oh my God, my dad. I'm- Okay, Dad, I got it. Anyways, sorry about my dad interrupting me, but uh, yeah, I was really down for that, but um, no one took initiative.
Yeah.
And I'm not a very initiative person. Again, I'm very down to join things, but I'm not down to start things. Like I don't want to be the one to start things. Are you like that or are you more?
I think I also just like to be a part of things and not be in the lead.
Yeah, we're very alike in that sense. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment below what you thought about Marsha P. Johnson,
And don't forget to subscribe and let us know what you who you want us to talk about next.
other than Sylvia Rivera.
Yeah.
Happy Pride Month!